all you awesome people. I am telling you my story. So, here is another webisode of my story. And yeah, so here we go. I was telling you guys how I had manifested a man. I manifested a guy. And I was excited. And yeah, I put a love spell on him, you guys. And I do regret that. I mean, he was like so in love with me. And I was like so in love with him. And it was really a lot of fun. But I do regret putting a love spell on him. I wish it would have been more natural. I think that that's how things should be. I don't even know if the spell worked or anything, but I don't even know if I knew what I was doing. But anyway, yeah, I did that. So, where was I at? Okay, so Dave, because, I was struggling. I was really, really, really hardcore struggling. And Dave had got me an apartment. I was going to have to go back home and live with my dad, and Dave didn't like that, so he got me an apartment, and so it was pretty cool. And we moved into the apartment, and oh my goodness, there's a really funny story with this because okay, I think I had told you on my previous webisode my previous webisode, I told you about how Dave asked me to wait on him, and I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to. I mean, he was going to war, and I wasn't quite sure about that. And after thinking about it, for a while, I was like, okay, I will. And we ended up going and buying me a dildo. And you guys, I had never had a dildo like this before. It cost a lot of money, but, it was like a realistic one, except for it was like hot pink. It was hot pink and like purple. And, it was, I don't know. I don't know. But we were moving into the apartment, and basically I had a whole lot of boxes in the closet. Whenever you walk into the apartment, the closet is like right there at the door, and then there's a kitchen. You walk in, there's a bedroom and a bathroom, and then a living room. Is a nicer apartment than what I was in previously, so that was really cool. But my baby girl, basically my oldest daughter, she's such a wild child. I love her. I love her spirit so much, and I always have. But she was such a wild child, and every time that she would get out of the bath, it was like, for her, it was a game that she would play where she would take off running and giggle as I try to catch her. I would finally catch her and, tickle her, blow some raspberries, and then I would basically have to keep her caught to put her clothes on because she would not want to wear her clothes ever. And this day, because moving was going on at the time, I guess, and I don't know, there's just stuff. But I had not putting up. I obviously had not putting up my dildo well enough. It was in the closet, is where it was. It was in the closet. It was on top of some boxes and stuff. And my daughter jumped out of the bathtub and she took off running, and the front door happened to be open. She grabs the dildo. I mean, she's buck naked, guys, and she grabs the dildo and she's like, she puts it on her head, so it's like flopping on her head. And she's running down the hallway. I'd never used it at this point. It's never been used. But oh my gosh, running down the hallway, butt naked, flopping the dildo on her head. And my boyfriend Dave, like, I don't know if he was like coming home or he wasn't living there, but he basically was living there. I don't know if he was like coming home at that time, and because it was like he had the door open and she ran out, and she like happened to grab that right before, and oh my goodness, he goes chasing after her down the hallway, and she started calling him daddy, I guess, because he was there all the time. She just assumed he's dad. I don't know. We never said that he was or anything, but she starts yelling, "Daddy, don't hit me. Daddy, don't hit me." She's butt naked with a dildo on her head, running down the friggin' hallway yelling, "Daddy, don't hit me." And my boyfriend is chasing after her. Oh my gosh. It's a sight, it's a story. I love telling the story. I lived through it. I saw that this is, my life, my fake life, my false life. Anyway, better not say it's true. Anyway, okay. So, yeah, it was hilarious, guys. It was. And at this time, like I said, Zach, if I called him, Zach would send me money. I was pretty certain that Zach didn't want anything to do with the kids. I was pretty certain that if I happened to go after child support for my second daughter, then he would want something to do with the kids, and it would only be out of spite towards me. I mean, I was just convinced of that, so I didn't want a DNA test, and yeah, so I didn't want that at all, and I was able to call him, and he would send me money pretty much any time, but Dave didn't quite know that, and Dave is like paying all my bills and everything, and Dave, like, he sat down, he had a talk with me, and he was like, "You really need to, why are you not going after child support for your baby daddy? And you really need to do that. You need to get that done." And, I was like, "It's really not a good idea." And he's like, "I really do think it is a good idea." And, he ended up, he talked me into getting a DNA test. And I still believe to this day that Zach wouldn't have ever cared about the kids if I wouldn't have got that DNA test. But I feel that things were fated and they were meant to happen as they did anyway. But yes, I went and got a DNA test of my second daughter, Zach, and it comes back that Zach is, 99.9, because they won't say 100% sure, the father. And, which I was pretty sure of anyway, I did have doubts. I'm not gonna lie, I did have doubts. And, but she came out looking just like him. It's his kid too. But, also, during this time, Dave convinces me that I should go back to college and that it's okay now and that he would help and support me. And so I was like, that's cool too. And so I did. I applied to college, and I was thinking that a really good job for me would be a fancy secretary. I feel like I'm really good at secretarial work. I'm really good at office work, paperwork, booking things, all that kind of stuff. So I went to a technical school because I didn't want to do like a 4-year college. I'd already tried that, and it's just like you get lost in the mud of it all, and university's not what you think it is. It's something completely different. And so basically, I wanted to go to a technical school. I wanted to go to a school that would get me on a path to a good career ASAP. So I decided to go to school for administrative assisting, and I started that, and I was excited for that, and it was exciting. Dave was celebrating with me. He was like so happy for me. And, it's really weird having a boyfriend that's like there for you, supporting you, and, not running around all the time, like showing up at night because he wants to be there with you. It was really strange. It really was. But I started going to school and I started making new friends. I made a friend who, she's a military wife, and Dave was also in the military, so I was like, I might be a military wife. But yeah, we became really good friends, and it was really cool. Well, my birth control appointment was coming up, but I was pretty sure that I was pregnant. Yeah, I was pretty certain I was pregnant, and I was breastfeeding at the time. I was trying to wean my second daughter off. My first daughter was, it was pretty easy. But my second daughter would not take, she wouldn't take any pacifiers, she wouldn't take any bottles. She would take bottles for the daycare worker though. So I had to go and ask her, and she said, yeah, we had the same problem. Like, she won't take any nipples. There's this certain kind of nipple that it's shaped like a breast, and it doesn't come out the tip, it comes out the side, which is like a breast wheel, and that's what she takes. So I was like, oh, okay. So I had to figure out what she takes. And yeah, but still, it wasn't easy weaning her. It was really difficult because me being around, it's easier to get her to drink from a bottle whenever I'm not around. So, but it was difficult weaning her, but still at the same time, I wasn't getting periods, and I felt like I was pregnant, and I was so certain of it. And my friend was like, just stop by the store and get a pregnancy test and see what it says. And I called Jerica, and Jerica, she was so funny. She's like, I'm so sick and tired of women being the ones that have to buy the pregnancy test. You call him. He knows what he's been doing with you. You call him and you tell him that you need a pregnancy test and to bring it to you. And so I was like, okay, and I did. I let her talk me into that. But yeah, I did. And he was like, why would you need that? Okay, sure. And he was coming over, but I did not want to wait on him. I couldn't wait on him. So me and this other army wife, we went and we got it, and sure enough, it was positive, and I was freaking out. I was like, what am I going to do? And she's like, tell him. She's like, trust me, it's going to be a good thing. I promise you. And I'm just like, I don't think so. I was scared, y'all. I was scared. I mean, Zach's reaction to pregnancies was not good. It wasn't like, yay, it was like, oh, look at you, you're a slut, you're a failure, look at you, you failed, like, you're awful. And so Dave, he comes over and he has the test and everything, and I just look at him. He walks in the door, and I look at him and I go, I'm pregnant. I'm like kind of in shock. I don't know why. I shouldn't be. I know what I was doing. This man comes over to me and picks me up and twirls me in the air and says, we're getting married. Oh my gosh. He was like, we're getting married. And he sits me back down, and I go, we are? Like, that was his proposal, y'all. Now, looking back and going through my story, I kind of see that he actually proposed whenever he asked me to be his girlfriend. Like, that was his proposal. Like, he really did. Like, get down. He was like, will you be my girlfriend? He didn't have a ring or anything. He didn't have a ring whenever he proposed. But he's like, we're getting married. It's like, okay. And so I was looking at Walmart rings, and he's like, my wife, we're going to the mall, and we're getting you a nice ring. We went to this fancy place to get a ring, and it was a tiny, tiny, tiny little thing. I got a bigger one now, but it was a tiny, tiny little thing. I was so proud, y'all, so proud to have it. Oh my goodness, I was so happy and excited. But oh my goodness. Yeah, his proposal was, he picks me up in the air, twirls me around, he says, we're getting married. And I was like, we are? And I was like, wait a minute, I don't know about this. And he's like, no, we are. He's like, you're having my baby. And he's like, what would you do if I'm not gonna, what would you do? And I was like, well, I'd probably put her up for adoption. I don't think I have a choice. And he's like, exactly, we're getting married. We're getting married because you're having my baby, and if you marry me, then I can make sure that my baby has the proper health care starting now, not tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and I was like, okay, well, we really got to sit down and talk about this stuff. We've got to sit down and talk about this stuff. So, like, that's all that I wanted to do, was go over like every single issue that could come up about getting married, like, you're stepping into being the father of 2 kids. And he's like, you think I don't know that? And I'm like, well, it's not easy. And he's like, you think I don't know that? And I'm like, well, I mean, it's not going to be perfect. He's like, you think I don't know that? I don't know. I was like going through everything and making sure that he understood. And yeah, I spent like a week doing that. Just like no, we can't just do anything tonight. We got to, are you sure you want to marry me? Why? Are you sure you can do this? Do you think I can do this? Should we do this? Because, I mean, guys, we had been together 2 months. Literally. 2 months. That's it. 2 months we'd been exclusive. That's it. So, yeah. It was crazy. It was fast. It was a whirlwind. And it was pretty cool. So anyways, I'm out of time, guys. That's my story for today. Thank you for watching this webisode. Life is happy sometimes. It's not always bad. It's sometimes the sunshine comes out and there's rainbows. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my story. And as always, be blessed with love. My story. That's all she got.